Hello, welcome to the video notes for lesson 3-6. This lesson begins on page 29 in your notes packet. The title, Exponents and Multiplication with Variables and Exponents and Division with Variables. So this time we're going to be looking at our exponents, which we've already been doing, operations with our exponents, but this time we're going to be dealing with variables instead of actual numbers. So the learning target, I can use properties of exponents, so these are the things we've already learned about, to multiply and divide variables, so multiply and divide variables being the key there, with the same base. And the base is actually the variable. So we have some examples here, and we've seen these before, except for with numbers. So let me move this down so we can see. Alright, so multiply. We've got v to the second power, or v squared, times v to the third, or v cubed. So what does that mean? Well, really, what we're talking about is we've got v times v, that's v squared, times v times v times v. Now, how many times are we multiplying v together? That's right, 5 times. So the answer is v to the 5th power. Now, where did that come from? Well, since they have the same base, really what we're talking about is v to the 2 plus 3. So that's how we get our answer. Alright? So when I look at the next one, v times v to the 4th. Now remember, when there's no exponent, you treat it like there's a 1. So really I have v to the 1 plus 4, which is equal to v to the 5th. So another example of v to the 5th. I'll put a box around all my answers here so we know what we get. Okay, the next one, v squared times v squared times v. I'll put a 1 here so we remember that that is v to the 1st power. So really, I've got 2 plus 2 plus 1, or v to the 5th power. And then obviously the last one, 5 v's is v to the 5th. Alright? Now, when we divide, same as when we were dividing before, we will be subtracting. So v to the 6th over v to the 4th. Let me show you what that looks like when I expand it. So I have 6 v's. Probably should have started with the second one. It's a lot easier. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over 4 v's. Now remember, when you have a fraction, they cancel or become 1. So I've got all these 1's, and then I've got v times v, which is really v squared over 1, or just v squared. Now really what this is v to the 6 minus 4, which gives me a final answer of v squared. Alright, so the next one, v to the 3rd over v, that's really v to the 1st power. That's the same as v to the 3 minus 1, which is equal to v squared. Next one, v to the 5th over v to the 3rd. Same thing. Take the exponents. Since the base is the same, you can subtract them because we're dividing. And then the last one, v to the 10 minus 8 equals v squared. So we've got 4 different examples of v to the 2nd power. Because the base is the same, we just simply subtract the exponent. Alright, so on the next page, page 30, we're going to summarize what we have. Just like with the situation we learned about earlier, multiplying powers with the same base. To multiply powers with the same base, add the exponent. Now you already knew about that. So when we're dealing with variables, so a to the m times a to the n, m and n are just numbers, exponents. You'll add them together. Now here's something important, where a is not equal to 0. We don't want 0 as our base, and m and n are integers, alright? So we're assuming that that's true. If the base is 0, then that's going to create a completely different, well, 0 raised to any power is 0. Alright? Okay, so let's do these examples. So h to the 4th times h to the 5th, that's h to the 4 plus 5, which is equal to h to the 9th. Alright, why don't you try this one on your own, the problem with the d's. I'll check to see who does that one. I'll actually, you know what, I'm going to have you try this one on your own as well. I'm going to do this one with you, and this might help you with the one before it. So I've got negative 7b to the 4th times 9b squared. That's really like negative 7 times 9 times b. Now b is to the 4th and b squared have the same base, so I'm going to add the exponents. Alright, and what I get is negative 7 times 9 is negative 63. b to the 4 plus 2 is b to the 6. So there's your final answer. Alright, see if you can use that to help you figure out this one over here that I put a star next to. Alright, make sure you copy this down or pause it because I'm going to clear the screen. Move down. Division, same thing. When we divide and they have the same base, even if the base is a variable, then we subtract the exponents. Remember, we don't want the base to be 0 and the exponents have to be integers. Alright, that's very important. Again, I'll do a couple of these with you and leave a couple for you to do on your own. Put a star next to this one and a star next to this one. Those you can try on your own. H to the 4th over h cubed is really h to the 4 minus 3, which is h to the 1st power, or just h. And then this one over here. Now let's break this apart, and that's what you're going to do with this one. We're going to do the one with the b's as the base. So I've got 8 over 16, b to the 15th, and b to the 10th. So really that's 8 over 16 times b to the 15th over b to the 10th. Now, simplify the two fractions. So 8 over 16 is really 1/2 times b to the 15th over b to the 10th is really b to the 15 minus 10. Now, 15 minus 10 is 5. So I've got 1/2 times b to the 5th. And you can leave your answer like that, or what's a better answer is b to the 5th over 2. Alright? Now see if you can figure out these two here and the other two up at the top. For every person that tries all 4, I'll give you a point. For every person that gets all 4 correct, maybe I'll give you another point or 2. Good luck. We'll see you in math. If you didn't understand something, make sure you go back and rewatch the video or come see me for help.